All right, here we go. Hello, and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I am your host, John Harris, and today on Rock Metal Podcast, we have Hidden Figures, and they've been just releasing a slew of singles, some of which are Damaged Art, Borderline, all part of an EP that's coming up in about 2022, as we were chatting about, and I'm joined by the entire band shortly after a rehearsal to chat about everything them. So, boys, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having us. Yeah, what's going on?
It is the first. I'm in Canada, and we just got pounded with like a good foot of snow. So it's the first,
already?
Winter is here. Yeah.
Like a good pounding.
How is life with you guys? Now, I know that you are just finished rehearsing. You're in rehearsal space right now. Take us through it. What were you guys working on? The singles that we're chatting about now?
Yeah, we are going through our set lists. We're practicing about twice a week right now, so we just went through the entire thing. So the two music videos that we have out right now, Don't Let the Door Hit You on the Way Out, Nothing You Could Say, and then Damaged Art, which is coming out on Thursday, so November 18th, and then the two other unreleased songs as well.
Okay, beautiful. Now, take us through these videos that you guys have done up to this point. Do you planning on making a music video for each single?
So we went into everything kind of wanting to do content for everything. And because we kind of got started like right when COVID hit, we actually were able to, I had met Dan Horahan, who you would probably know him from working with Ice Nine Kills. He directed the music videos for all of the Silver Scream stuff.
Yep.
And he's worked with like August Burns Red, We Came as Romans, other bands like that. Mm-hmm. And I got the opportunity to meet him. And then because we started working with him, he helped to kind of like open up doors. So things, we had one set of plans that we were going to, and then it kind of just like changed because of all that. So we've kind of just been taking it one step at a time, and it's kind of panned out that way that we've made a music video for almost every song, except for Borderline, because had Ryan featured on that, so we weren't able to get him in the video, so we just made a lyric video for that one.
Okay, very cool. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with a lyric video.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the pandemic. You guys started when COVID sort of started, which changed some things because now bands are almost having to do a music video per song so that they can continue exposure.
Right.
How has that been, starting a band when COVID is going on, or like does it change the way you guys thought about how you were going to operate this thing?
I mean, I think normally you'd think it'd be difficult because obviously you're limited that you can't play shows and that sort of thing. But simultaneously, we had just formed and we needed to write, we needed to record, we needed to shoot the video. So, and at the same time, it was sort of breathing room for us to work on that sort of stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. It gave us the time to really make everything the best that it possibly could be without worrying about needing to get out there to play shows and like kind of like force stuff. We were able to sit back and take time to listen to things and go back and make the changes that we needed to make the songs the best that they possibly could be. So it was a blessing in disguise as far as our music goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's a good way to think about it, because so many bands went into a panic and then spiraled.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned, that's the format. You get together, you go out, you play shows before you've really even thought about it. But you guys had the chance to think about it. So I mean, take us through that road. How much time did it take to really craft what it is that we're hearing now? Because it doesn't seem like it took that long.
So I mean, there's definitely been a lot of changes as far as like what we are doing now. I've kind of had like a very solid vision for what we were going to do and how we were going to do that. And then just going through COVID kind of just, like Casey was saying, it gave us the opportunity to do things the way that I wanted them to be done, so that we were able to sit down and I was able to write the stories for the first two music videos that we came up with, and we kind of workshopped that. It wasn't rushed or anything like that. As far as the music goes, if you want to talk about the writing of that.
We went into Hidden Figures with a little bit of material. A lot of material was written when we first started. A lot of that because of COVID and us having that time to breathe and make the best of things. A couple of songs got rewritten. Borderline, the one that featured Ryan Kirby of Fit for a King, that pretty much got a full-on overhaul before we even sent that demo out to Ricky, which we're very grateful for. Our plans have kind of changed. We had originally a full length in mind, and it kind of ended up being an EP, which we're also glad for because we can, put out 6 or so like good songs rather than trying to, fluff it out with a bunch of songs that probably won't ever get played live.
Yeah.
So
why is that?
Yeah, so it's taken a while, but we've been working hard at it. So it may not seem like it's been that long, but a lot of hours went into it.
Yeah.
And are still going into it, actually.
It's definitely like a process working with Ricky as well when he's he's in Ice Nine Kills and they're on the road all the time. He's the front man for Hawk and they're doing stuff all the time, and he's like a full-time producer working with a bunch of other bands as well. So that is another, not so much as an obstacle as it gives us more kind of time to work on things and really craft it the way that we want it to. But the whole team as a whole is really behind us. The relationship that Ricky and Dan have, they really want us to be the absolute best that we can. So it takes a little bit more time because there's like that much level of care that's going into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was that relationship forged fairly early on, or did Ricky come in a little bit later? When did Ricky come in?
So I had met Dan probably like the end of 2019, and it took us till July of 2020 to film our first video. And after we filmed our first video, Dan had actually been at Ricky's house, and he kind of just wanted to get his opinion on what we had done. And he showed him the video, and then Ricky was listening to the song and he liked it, and he was asking if we had anybody in mind to like master our stuff. That kind of just led to Ricky and I talking, and then I built a relationship with him. So it's probably been about like halfway through our journey that he came into the picture. So we had recorded Don't Let the Door Hit You on the Way Out, Nothing You Can Say with Ian Opinen, and then after that we've recorded the back half of the EP with Ricky.
Yeah, and Ricky mastered the first 2 tracks,
right,
which is how it started out with Ricky.
Yeah, how did that end? Is it not visible, but does half of the EP sound different from the other half, or how was Ricky able to make the whole EP then sound cohesive?
In my opinion, it doesn't really sound any different. He did a really good job of kind of like making it so he was like one of the members of our band, mm-hmm. and he used his knowledge and his skill set to really not only help us improve what we were doing and show us things so we are all growing as musicians, but to keep the sound similar so that it's not like 2 very crazy different sounds. So because he mastered it too, going from one song to the next, it doesn't really feel too different in my opinion. So I'm very happy with what we have.
Mm-hmm. So that was kind of my next question is, how did that change the sound or maybe the workflow when Ricky got involved?
I mean, it was pretty dope because it was the first time I think any of us have really had any serious like production, in terms of like when we were recording. Like before that, we'd had some minor stuff, but it was much more dedicated with Ricky, and we got to really go back and forth on a lot of different sections, parts, melodic ideas, all the stuff that goes into the songs. He definitely took them to like a different level when we got to work with him.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned something there, serious production. What is that like compared to maybe what you would experience beforehand? Were there any aha moments like, oh, that's what I was supposed to be doing?
It's like we would have a full song written, and we'd send it out to Ricky, and he would suggest some parts, like this part's missing a little bit of like drive, say drive, like a little bit more energy in the verse or something. And so we'd make those edits ahead of time. And when we get into the studio, we would, maybe Casey would track the vocal melody for the chorus. And then Ricky would say, maybe it needs something more. And in that moment, like like as that melody develops in that session, it turns into something so much greater. And it kind of feels like an aha moment. It's like, wow, like this one vocal melody, just having someone's opinion, just changed my vocal melody and made that chorus bang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it's been like working with Ricky. Is he's been much more involved with what we're doing. And it, like, before, we've had experiences where we go to a studio and it's just we're going in recording what we've already written and there's no collaborative effort. Yeah. But Ricky is very, especially, and that's just how he is, but especially the relationship that we have and with Dan and everybody wanting to have the best possible product, has really thrown his all into it. And having that back and forth and collaborative effort has helped us all to grow, to be better writers in general, as well as musicians.
Mm-hmm. Would you be working with the same team going forward then?
I would absolutely love to. It's hard to say for sure, just because of Ricky's schedule. I mean, like you said, he's in 2 very successful bands and he's doing his thing all the time. So it might come down the line that we need to get some stuff out that he can't do. So maybe he'll still be involved with like mastering and writing with us or something like that. It's hard to say right now.
Yeah. I just pictured in my head this little scene where you guys are like, yeah, I don't think you're right. And he's just like, are you in a very successful band right now?
Yeah.
No, he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff. So,
yeah, you don't even have to fight about stuff. He just comes up with an idea and you're like, shit, that's way better.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Yeah. I can see all the awards on the wall. That's nice. Cool. Now, something else you mentioned was a guest spot from Fit for a King, Ryan. How did he get involved? Was that just like an email that somebody sent out? And I guess more importantly, why him?
So when Fit for a King, like kind of like not when they first started out, but when they were still just like a local band in Texas, I had found them on Facebook. They had, I don't know, maybe like 800 so likes or something like that on their page, and I was a really big fan of them, so I had just kind of like reached out to them and had developed a friendship with those guys over the course of time. And then when Ryan joined the band, that became more of a personal relationship that I had built with him, and I had always looked up to him as far as being a vocalist goes. So over the time before they had like really blown up, he had told me before that he would love to do a song with me, et cetera, et cetera. So, fast forward years later, they've completely blown up into this massive, staple of the scene. And I just reached out to him and I was just like, hey, remember that time you said that you wanted to do a song with me? Well, I got a perfect song for you, and sent it out. And he found, he heard that we were working with Ricky and everything, and he was super, super about it. And he loved what we did, and he got back to it really quick. Got back to us quickly about doing everything, and it was awesome. So not only am my friends with somebody that I look up to and respect a lot, but now I got to perform on a song, and he's singing lyrics that I wrote and everything. Is just completely surreal.
He live streamed the entire recording session too.
Yeah,
for his part on his Twitch, which was really cool.
Wow.
And we've been working a documentary too, kind of showcasing the beginning of our band and telling our story as far as that. And Dan actually drove down to Texas, and he was part of the documentary for us. So he'll be on it. Ricky will be on it, and a few other people as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow, very cool. Now, does all of that strike you guys as, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the word to say it, but so many people start a band, and I'm sure you've been in lots of bands who you've put in a lot of effort and maybe it doesn't go where you want it to go, but then all of a sudden things just seem to be clicking.
Yeah, so I've been trying to be a musician, like professional musician, since I was 16. I just turned 30 last week. So like the past year and a half has been when it's really starting to blow up, and it's just been like, surreal is the only word that I can really think of, because it's just been like something that I've been plugging away at for so long that I never really thought was going to be anything, and now here we are. Yeah. Almost 2 years later with a third music video coming out. I have a song with somebody I look up to, and another song with somebody I've been a fan of and now I'm friends with, and we text and stuff like that. It's just completely ridiculous, and I still don't feel like we've really done anything, but we have a lot of stuff that other people would look at and say that like you guys are crushing it, but I'm still like, in my mind it's not enough, and we got to keep going.
Yeah, we're like, we've played in bands. Most of us We were, everyone except Nick. Yeah, we were in a band together for a long time before Hidden Figures, and
we hit those dead ends.
We hit those dead ends.
That you mentioned.
And then like right now we're just kind of like building off of like a decade of dead ends and mistakes, and like just learning those lessons that you need to learn. And now we put a new face on it, and it's good to be back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a really good process, because these guys really had the creative aspect of it that I definitely lacked and needed to any of my previous bands to be successful, and I kind of had more of the business side of it together. So collectively, it's been like a perfect fit that we've been able to take, essentially burn the candle at both ends with our strengths, and everyone is like learning their strengths, and everyone's just doing their part to really elevate this band to where we are now.
A lot of wick and a lot of candle wax. That's the strength and burning at both ends. That brings a very interesting question, because I have a lot of musicians and a lot of bands who do watch the show. And my basic question is, if you were to distill in, like 5 steps, what you should do to get from I'm starting a band to I'm working with a great producer, interviewing on shows with an EP coming out, and everything seems to be clicking. How would you distill that down into like a step-by-step? What should you do? Or what was the biggest crux point where you recognized?
So I would say the very first thing that you need to do is you have to have a very serious conversation with not only yourself, but everybody with you. That was one of the biggest things that we have done. It was right at the beginning was I told these guys, I have a very clear vision for how we're going to get there. And I know that we can do it, but it's only going to work if everyone is 100% like, this is what we're going to do, and you're willing to sacrifice anything to make it happen. And you have to be honest with yourself. If you're not willing to let other aspects slide, as far like, I just moved to another state and started a new job in the midst of all of this, and now I'm driving an hour and a half one way twice a week to do this, and that's I want to do that because I want this more than anything. So there's a lot of it that goes into doing it, but you have to be honest with yourself. If you don't have the right group of people, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part is just making sure that everyone in the band is working 100%, 110% towards the collective goal. If there's one person that's like doing 50% of what they should be doing, then everybody suffers and you end up not getting anywhere.
Yeah, it's like what Nick touched on before, like understand your bandmates' strengths and know their weaknesses too, because that way you can really delegate tasks and responsibilities in a way that you can move forward very quickly.
Yeah, and so the next thing that's incredibly important is networking. That's something that is incredibly huge that tends to go overlooked. A lot of people that I've talked to are under the impression that you can write music and just put it out there and like that's it. Like you don't talk about it. You're not going out. You're not networking with people. As far like
it doesn't work.
Yeah, no. I mean, you could have the best music in the world, but if all you're doing is writing music and putting it out and not doing anything with it, not talking to anybody or anything, it's not really going to work unless it's. I mean.
What if my guitar tone's really good though? Like we retrack the guitars like 5 times. The guitar tone's super sweet. Does that work? No? Okay.
Not in my experience.
It might get you like your 14th like.
Yeah.
But it's not going to get your 1400th.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time just reaching out to people without, I have no relationship with them, and it's just, hey, I'm Nick. This is what I'm trying to do. Are you interested? And it goes from there. And when it comes to all of our socials, anybody who comments or likes something, takes time to share something, I will message every single person individually, building that relationship, because not only is the networking part of it good, but like it means so much to me personally that I want to have that personal touch, and I want everyone to know that who is involved with what we're doing. I want them to know how much it is appreciated. So little things like that go overlooked that are incredibly important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one of the things I'm almost not hearing, and I chat about this a lot, is the music isn't anywhere near as important as you working to get the music heard.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
The music's important. It definitely is.
Well, of course it is, right? But
Like, yeah, if you have great music and nobody hears it, then
yeah,
it's only half the battle.
yeah,
And it's actually, if you write music a lot, it's the easier half of the battle.
yeah.
Half is pushing it, and
and that costs money.
Yeah.
Be prepared to spend a lot of money.
Yeah. I saw an interview on Howard Stern with Pitbull a number of years ago, and Howard Stern asked him basically the same question, like, what's the secret? And then Pitbull said this right here. Me sitting here and talking to you is more important than me going into the studio and recording a track, because if I don't do this, then nobody knows that I'm here. You can't you can't just record a track. You can't just release it. You've got to. He called it working the track. He's going out there and doing the acoustic sets, doing the radio spots, doing the the tours, like actually working that song. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, I've had a vision for where I wanted us to be from the very beginning. So there was like a quality threshold that I was not willing to go below. So again, that plays into the money aspect of it. And some people call it, paying to win or whatever, but like we're investing in ourselves, and that's how I see it. It's like, I'm not going to put out a subpar product because I don't want to come off across that I'm just paying my way to stuff, because it's not necessarily how it works, right? You can throw all this money at people and then it's still not going to do anything if it's not like good enough quality or good enough content by itself.
just throw money, throw it.
Yeah.
And then it bounces off, and then what happens?
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Not to like break everything down, but just like a rough estimate. I mean, we've probably spent close to $40,000 and over the course past like 2 years total, with like traveling and everything that we've done, and we still have a ton of work to do.
I was gonna say that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It won't be the last of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's expensive, and then not even including advertising and whatever else, because you make a really nice music video, you want people to see it, you got to pay for PR, pay for those ads.
Yeah, we got coming out this week. We know.
Yeah.
You're like, tell me about it. I know. I do the same thing for my podcast. If I see an episode's picking up speed, I'll go ahead and throw some coin at it.
Yeah, there you go,
man.
So cool. We've got an EP that's going to be coming out in 2022, and we've also got some singles that are being released. We have some music videos. So hiddenfiguresofficial.com I have as the website, and then the music videos will be available in the show notes for today's episode when it is edited and released on YouTube. And we've got quite a few people who are watching in on the Twitch stream right now. So hello. And I will go ahead and put the band's website in the Twitch stream. Is there anything else you guys need me to type up into the Twitch stream?
And I mean, you can find all of our stuff right through our website, so I think that's the best.
Yeah, that should do it.
The best way. All of our socials are like directly at the bottom. All of our merch is there, so feel free to pick up some stuff that'll help us be able to afford our
save us.
Yeah, our advertising.
Cool. Awesome. All right, gang. Well, that concludes all my questions. Was there anything that I didn't ask that you wanted to chat about?
Nah, man, I think you got it all. Really appreciate you taking the time to have us on,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And thanks for all showing up with, like, it looks like it's on fire back there.
Yeah.
We got some cool lighting.
Yeah.
It's not really on fire.
I could tell because it wasn't spreading, but at first when you guys came on, I was like, hey, their building's falling apart. It's on fire.
That's
just check.
It's just my fire bass tone going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of bass tone, let's chat about that for a second. What do you use for bass tone?
I've got an Ampeg SVT4 Pro as my amp.
Yeah, you do.
The Ampeg 8x10, the fridge, of course.
Yeah, you do. You have a rat pedal or something to give it a little dirt?
Yeah, I got the Sansa amp bass driver.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah. No big deal. When I thunder, all the girls start spending money.
It's like a preamp, but I have the dark glass distortion pedal.
Of course you do.
It's as well.
Yeah, you hit your low B and money just starts coming onto the stage. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're hitting the low G sharp right now, I think.
Yeah.
What? What?
Yeah, it's tougher to get.
Yeah.
That's why you need the dark glass. Like, guys, we can't hear it, but the floor is shaking.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think the most important part, though, is the tone you get from your actual instrument, which is often overlooked.
Yes. So I'm guessing active bass, or is it a passive bass?
Yeah, it's an active bass with new Fishman Fluence soap bar pickups. It's, what do I have? Yeah, the Schecter Evil Twin 5 string.
Wow.
It's pretty.
Yeah. So you look like Murder when you're on stage, and you just sound like everything everybody ever wanted to be when they grew up.
Yeah.
You just fill in the gap there with that 6505. You guys probably sound ferocious.
Do what we can. Yeah.
So, we try.
Beautiful. I wonder if you can hear the snare drum at all. Ding. What kind of snare do we got? We got like a piccolo to hear. You can be heard over that bass guitar. Bing.
You can hit it if you'd like. It's a Black Panther, 13-inch.
What?
Yeah.
Black Panther. All right. So you guys decided you wanted to play when you got together. That's good.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
That's fantastic. Well, in the day of age of convenience for expensive travel and everybody switching over to like a Helix or something, it at the same time refreshing that at least you guys are rehearsing with some good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Groovy. All right, gang. So for everybody who is watching, hiddenfiguresofficial.com, I went ahead and put that into the Twitch chat, and it will be available in the show notes on the YouTube page when this episode airs at that point. And then as well, we've got quite a few music videos. So if you head over to YouTube and you type in Hidden Figures, you'll be able to see their YouTube page, and they've got a video for Damaged Art. Or not released yet, or is it? I've got a link for it.
Yeah. Thursday.
Cool. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, because I always hate when it does. Borderline and Nothing to Say. So, boys, that concludes all my questions. Thank you so much for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast today.
Thanks for
Thanks so
having
much,
us.
man. All right. Bye.